Okay, so you've tried keto diet, you've tried the carnivore diet, you've tried the fast fat diet, you've tried losing 50 pounds in 5 days diet, right? You've tried so many different diets, and at this point, you're like, you've tried everything, but nothing's working. If you're that nurse who has tried all these different modalities to lose the weight and just be healthier, right, and nothing's working, you're watching the right video. This is specifically for you, right? Okay, so let's get into it, right? Why do traditional diets, and honestly, I'm going to talk a little bit more about traditional health and wellness and traditional modalities for physical health do not work for nurses. Why do they not work for nurses? You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you, right? But we have to understand that those traditional methods for weight loss, right, they were made for 9 to 5 workers. They were made for people with a regular 40-hour work week schedule. They have the evenings to themselves. They have a little bit of a morning. They have a weekend off, right? And their jobs are not so highly stressed. There's no on-call, right? Those traditional methods of health and wellness, those influencers that you guys follow, when I started training nurses, it was so complex and just chaotic because, there would be a lot of cancellations because, my client load and trying to get a good schedule with their schedule, and especially if they had kids, and just the inconsistency was not going to be sustainable, right? This thing was not going to be sustainable, right? And that's why I talk about why my online program is so beneficial for nurses, because having something in person, you have to rely on another person's schedule, and you guys already don't have enough time as it is, right? So those traditional methods, right, they don't really work for nurses, right? Number one is the timing, the scheduling, right? It doesn't work for a nurse's schedule, even though, yes, some nurses may be working 3 days a week, right? But those 3 days, after those 3 days, you need about two, maybe another 3 days just to recover and feel like yourself, and then get other tasks done, be productive, clean the house, cook, attend to family, attend to personal life, be a human being, right? Not just be stuck in the hospital. So the time is such a huge factor in why those traditional methods don't work, right? Now, let me talk about nutrition just a little bit, right? So I'm sure you guys have all heard eat less to lose weight. Now, I'm not saying that's false, right? But we have to understand when it comes to a nurse's situation, eating less does not work for nurses, right? And I'm going to talk about why. The biggest culprit, cortisol. Most nurses are chronically stressed. Super high cortisol levels. And you guys know stress is a silent killer. Now, this is how cortisol plays and has a relationship with weight gain when it comes to trying to lose the weight. This is the relationship. When there's high cortisol in the body does not want to drop weight, okay? Our genes haven't really evolved from 10,000 years ago when there was a high cortisol, high stress. Our bodies are thinking we're running from a lion, right? We're running from a predator, another clan, another tribe is trying to gather our women, gather our resources. So we have to hunt, we have to fight, or there's just a scarcity of food because we're hunter gatherers, right? There's no McDonald's, there's no Costco, right? We have to go hunt and find our food, right? So when that cortisol level is high, that's the position they revert back to, right? So eating less doesn't really work for majority of nurses. You cannot eat less to lose weight. It's not going to work for you guys, right? Because you guys are chronically stressed. You're working 12, 13, 14 hours, right? Now, some of you guys are moms. You go home, you have to take care of 1 to 3 kids. You have a hubby you have to take care of. You just have other family. You have so many other things to take care of that make you so stressed. Mainstream media has said, oh, eat less to lose weight. And I'm telling you, for nurses, it doesn't work, right? And we break down how to eat in my Healthcare for Healthcare program, and it's actually eating more. You have to eat more of the right foods, though, right? More healthier carbs, more protein, more healthy fat, right? To actually allow the body to feel safe and comfortable, because there's a consistent, adequate input of nutrition, of food. Now it feels comfortable to drop that weight, to drop that excess weight, right? I.e. stored energy, fat. So those traditional statements and mantras of, oh, you have to eat less, you just have to eat less, right? It doesn't work for nurses, right? Number 3, you have to do so much cardio, all right? Again, this plays back into the cortisol. When we're working out, that is stress for the body, yet it is a healthy stress, right? It's a healthy stress, but it's stress nonetheless. So when we're talking about doing excessive cardio, we're putting the body back in a highly stressed state. So you've heard it. Oh, do more cardio. Do cardio 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week. All right, do more cardio, the weight will fall off. Right? Go to a Pilates class. I mean, go to a hit class. Go to a spin class. Right? Go to all these hit classes, all these cardio classes to lose the weight. And for some of my clients like this, they're not going to put a spin classes. They're not doing cardio 10 times a week, right? And they're able to lose 15, 20, even 30 pounds. Like my client Destiny here, who's lost 21 pounds in 13 weeks, right? She's working 5 days a week. She's got 2 kids. She's not doing spin classes. I guarantee you, right? She walks maybe 2 miles, maybe twice a week. And that's all the cardio she's doing, right? So high intense cardio does not work for nurses. It doesn't work, right? Because it puts the body back in a high cortisol state. Now, anything you are doing is just adding to the weight gain and weight retainment. The body's not going to drop any of that weight. It's not going to do that. And I want to touch on a fourth one. Oh, you have to cut your carbs. You have to cut your carbs to lose weight. You're eating too many carbs. I'm sure you guys have heard that, right? You're eating too many carbs. Again, carbs is the number one energy source for the body. When you work out, when you exert energy and you deplete the muscle glycogen in your muscles, how do we refill that? Carbs. Carbs are the number one fuel source for the body. Not fat, carbs, and not protein. I see this a lot. Nurses will come to me, they've been eating 1,300 calories, 80 grams of carbs, 90 grams of carbs for the day. And I'm like, this is why you're not losing weight, because the body's not getting enough of the primary source of energy to actually feel comfortable to drop the weight. Now, this is what happens. A nurse comes to me, she's eating 100 grams of carbs a day. The body's gonna burn through that, like no tomorrow. So the protein that she is eating, which is very minimal, it's not even a lot of protein. Now the body has to go to the protein for a source of energy. When the protein is supposed to be utilized for building lean muscle, right? We want to have some lean toned muscle. You're not going to have that because the body is utilizing the protein for energy. People think, oh, why is it not going to the fat? No, 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 no. Fat is stored energy. Your body is not just going to be like, oh, there's no energy. Let's go to our fat. No, because remember, that stored fat is for emergencies. When like you step into a phase of like maybe you go the next 2 months without eating, then the body's gonna start touching that fat because it's like, oh, I don't know when John or I don't know when Stacy's gonna get food again. It's been 2 months. Now we got to touch the fat storage. She's exhausted of her primary resources. So when you say cut carbs, that is so detrimental for a nurse who's trying to lose weight because she's cutting out her primary source of energy, which in turn is increasing her cortisol levels. It's making her more stressed. And obviously, I just taught you when the body is highly stressed, it does not lose weight. So they're in an endless cycle. And I've had so many nurses come to me, Dominion, I'm working out though. I'm eating pretty good protein. I'm eating pretty good. Why am I not losing the weight? And I look at their life and I assess their life, and their life is so stressful. They have no stress management technique, nothing to manage the stress. Day to day is high stress, go to work stress, come back stress, family stress, personal stress, and they're doing nothing to manage the stress in a healthy way, in a healthy, consistent way. Plus, they're not eating well. So they're having all these things stacked against them, and they're expecting the weight to just fall off their body because they see some lady on Instagram doing a few workouts and she has abs. It doesn't work that way, right? And no amount of Ozempic, right, will help. And that goes into my last. I can already see some nurses making a face when I said that. What? I thought that was a new thing. No, it is not. It is not. Go and do efficacious research on the amount of not just nurses, people who stop taking these drugs. The weight comes back ×2. So I'm including this as a traditional method because it is being so indoctrinated in our society today. These quick fixes, these semaglutides to lose 50 pounds in a month, right? That's not sustainable. And I've seen so many nurses who get on these drugs and they have to come off because number one, they were either facing a health issue from it, so many negative side effects. But then number two, it got too expensive. But then number three, once they got off, right, when the doctor was starting to wean them off, the weight just came back because a lot of those traditional quick fixes, They don't teach you how to stay healthy. And surgeries play a role in that as well. I've had so many people come to me, oh, I had lap band, I had gastric bypass, I had the sleeve, I had tummy tuck, right? A year, 2 years later, the majority of the weight comes back for a lot of people who pay a $20,000 median surgery for a year to 2 years post surgery, the weight comes back. That is horrible. And my program is not $20,000. That's horrible. That is horrible. Those traditional quick fixes, they just don't work, right? Now, let me tell you what works. There's no magic pill. There's no secret sauce. There's no therapy that can just magically take the fat off. It is lifestyle renewal. You probably have heard this before and probably brushed it off like, no, that can't be it. There's got to be a secret trick. How does he have abs year round? It's lifestyle. I heard the story before. I hope you guys have heard it. If not, this will be your first time, and I hope it's profound to you. There was a father that had two sons, right? The father was an alcoholic. The son, one of the sons became an alcoholic. One of the sons never touched alcohol a day in his life, right? And that son became a lawyer, super successful. And obviously, the son that became an alcoholic was an alcoholic, was a bum, deadbeat. Same father, grew up under the same conditions, but one's lifestyle chose to follow a lifestyle of alcoholism. The other lifestyle chose to follow a lifestyle of non-alcoholism and just striving to be better and work hard. So lifestyle changes is what's going to help you lose 20 to 50 pounds, keep it off and have more energy and just be confident, just be healthy. This is what we teach in my Healthcare for Healthcare program. We have to change our lifestyle, and it starts with our mindset. It starts with our mindset. And I hope the things we've talked about in this video gave you some clarity, or things that you thought were right, but they're not right, especially for nurses. If you're looking for something that's actually going to be sustainable, if you're looking to actually continue to work as a nurse, continue to help and save lives, which I truly thank you for, but look like you're healthy. You want to be a slim. You want to be toned. You want to have lots of energy. You want to have energy playing with your kids. You want to look in the mirror and like who's looking back and recognize yourself. You want to have that pre-college body, pre-nursing school body. You have to take action. You have to take action on something that's made and designed to work for you. You want something that's actually going to work for you and last, right? Click the link below in the description to fill out my application form, and we'll see if this program is a good fit for you. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.